How about we talk some recruiting, as July's kind of like the new January in that you put your final touches on a class, and that is essentially what Tennessee is doing. They have another scholarship available with Shandavian Bradley's departure as he decides to transfer to a junior college. So let's take a look at some recruiting. It's brought to you by our good friends at TriStar Hats. For the latest in TriStar Hats, go to the original TriStarHatsCo.com, TriStarHatsCo.com, hats, apparel, and more. TriStar Hats. Let's start with a gentleman that may just be a defensive end. He could grow into a defensive tackle, but I watched him. He looks like a defensive end to me. Brandon Caesar could be the guy that steps in and makes you feel a little bit better about Bradley's departure. Caesar isn't as highly ranked as Bradley was out of high school. He's a 4-star prospect. Caesar's rated as a 3-star prospect, the 28th best prospect in Ohio. He took an official visit to Tennessee. I think the Vols are in great shape for the 6'4", 255-pounder, thanks to Rodney Garner. Also considering Ohio State and West Virginia, I like where Tennessee stands with him.
Yeah, if they get him, it could be a little bit by default because I think Ohio State would be the favorite to land him, but he is only a 3-star. They maybe have their sights set higher. West Virginia would be the other place for playing time. The drawback with a guy like Brandon Caesar is the playing time issue, but I actually don't think, Dave, that he would go to Tennessee as an edge rusher. I think he would go to Tennessee as that hybrid 3-technique, 5-technique defensive lineman, which for those who don't know, Tennessee, Rodney Garner's wanted that, and he hasn't had it since 2021 with Jaquan Blakely and Caleb Herring. That's something they were lacking in 2022. I think they're hoping that Dominic Bailey finally emerges to do that this year along with Jason Jenkins. But what I'm talking about is the guy that Dave...
You're talking about like an Aaron Donald type?
Yes, obviously
like not a lighter guy. Okay.
Like a lighter guy that can line up in the
middle. We can
probably
meet in the medium here, in the middle here, because when I looked at him, he's a weird size for me, 6'5", 255 pounds. So that could be grow into a 300-pound defensive tackle, or that could be stay lean and be a fast twitch defensive end / edge rusher, which that's what I came away thinking. But if you're saying he could be a nimble-footed, quick disruptor in the interior, that's almost as valuable as a good pass rusher from the edge.
Think about it this way. You know how not in all 3-4s, but the 3-4 defense that Kirby Smart and Jeremy Pruitt and Nick Saban ran, the front line, it wasn't one nose tackle and 2 defensive ends. It was one nose tackle and another defensive tackle out on the outside, and then a defensive end. And what he would be like is a lot of times, if you guys will ever watch, Tim Banks will sometimes only use 3-down linemen. And typically there will be a tackle lined up on the end in those situations. And that's what they want Dominic Bailey to be. That's what they're hoping Jason Jenkins would be. That's what I think Brandon Caesar would be. They're usually you would almost call them tweeners. They're not the 300-pounder, but they're not the nimble 250 guy. They're like 280, like roughly around there.
Hell, Caesar is what down, Coop?
First.
Yep.
Coop here. First down.
Thank you. And what should we do, Coop?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
We'll do that. Now, second down.
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
A lot of Coop. Linebacker Christian Gass. Gass scheduled to announce his decision on July 20th. As we have on our Hooker's Corner page, we'd love for you to be a member of that. Just $9.98 a month. But let's talk about Gass for a second. 6'3", 215-pound prospect. He's taken official visits to Florida, Kentucky, Southern Cal, Georgia, and Tennessee. But from everybody I talked to, this looks like Tennessee's got a darn good shot at Gass. He's rated the number 131 prospect in the state, number 22 linebacker in the country, number 203 player. So this could be a default one too, where Georgia's not as crazy about him, maybe as we think they are. But nevertheless, based off his rating, whether or not Georgia actually offers him, I think this would be a significant pickup.
Yeah, so Rodney Garner and Mike Eckler are both going after him, Christian Gass, which suggests that they really do want him. The odd part is, Dave, I don't think he would play edge rusher at Tennessee. I think he'd probably play outside linebacker, be like in the wings for Arian Carter. And
let me be clear, these are just guys that are making their decision. These are not potential defense. I'm not talking about any position. These are just 3 guys that are making their decision. They're going to announce their decision in July. So regardless of position.
Right, exactly. So the same way you are seeing, like with Brandon Caesar and Christian Gass, you are seeing 2 adjacent edge rushers who aren't really full-on edge rushers, because Caesar would play more in the interior, and I think Gass would actually move more to a full-on linebacker, outside linebacker role. And so because of that, I think that Tennessee, I think right now they're just trying to get more depth in general on the front 7. And this is what I talked to you about the other day, Dave. I don't really think they are pushing themselves to add edge rushers. They're at the point now where, like, if we add another one, great. If not, we're so darn loaded there that they can borderline pull a Derek Dooley not recruiting an offensive lineman in 2012 if they need to.
Don't say that. What down, Coop?
Mays here. 3rd down.
This guy I thought was going to be a Vol a couple weeks ago. Lonza Hayward, the safety, just seems like a matter of time at this point, right? He's going to announce on July 27th, 6'1", 200 pounds, 94th best prospect in the nation, a number 12 prospect in Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, and Georgia been in the mix. This is one of those that's kind of painful because it's like pulling a Band-Aid off slowly. You know, is this thing just going to boom? Is it going to happen? Or it feels like it's dragging on a little bit, but I still think it's going to end up being Tennessee.
Yeah, this would be. He does have Tennessee as one of his top schools. He came out saying that, I guess it was 2 weeks ago. Tennessee's in his top 3. I do believe Georgia's making a run. Look, there is obviously that question. I mean, do you really want to be a defensive back in Tim Bink's system? And look, let's be honest. I think Florida's out of it. I think I wouldn't worry about Florida or South Carolina. I would worry about how much Georgia wants them. That becomes the real question because, Dave, we've talked.
I agree with that. Can I go back to something you said? And I might write a column on this. I actually think playing in Tim Banks' system allows you to be more of a gambler, and maybe that's a positive, kind of like playing wide receiver or quarterback on the offensive side of the ball. I've been thinking about that lately. Is that float a boat?
Yeah, but all any NFL draft scout would ask you is why were you part of a secondary that was giving up 300 yards a game?
Yeah, but no. You've talked so much about analytics and Pro Football Focus. They're going to have the grade of the actual dude.
I think scouts are dumber than you think.
Well, you don't know. Wait. I may surprise you. All right, so we got one more down left. Let's get a little bit of recruiting.
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down.
All right, and Travis Smith, the wide receiver, scheduled to announce his decision on Saturday. I think that's going to be a Vol. And let me tell you a little something about this young man as he seems to fit Tennessee to an absolute T. Brought to you by Quality Tire Pro. The Eberle family has been serving Chattanooga and their community since 1957. All major brands of tires, full service automotive, brake alignments, and more right there downtown Chattanooga and Cherokee. QualityTirePros.com. Travis Smith, 6'4", 199-pound receiver, just absolutely fits Tennessee to a T. Number 16 receiver in the nation, number 14 prospect in Georgia, and the number 113 prospect in the country. Now, I'm not saying this is the same thing as Deion Grant, Jamal Lewis, as Cozy Coleman, that trio that they got in 94. That ended up in some shape, form, or fashion leading to a championship, 94, 95, 96, 97. No, it would have been 95. So I'm not trying to say that it's that type of class or that they're having that type of success. But it's trending that way in Georgia, is it not?
It is, particularly for a player like Travis Smith. I mean, there is the Heupel discount for wide receivers. Dave, here's a throwback for you. Somebody who probably could have been an NFL receiver if it wasn't for the fact that he was stuck under Butch Jones and got hurt. But I'm reading a lot of Marquez North comparisons to Travis Smith. And
Marquez North was really good.
He was really good, and he was just stuck for the champion of life himself. There are stories that
he didn't have a lot of help with his high school teammate quarterback.
His high school teammate quarterback? Who was that?
Riley Ferguson.
Oh, that's right, because Riley Ferguson bolted and went to Memphis. That's right. I did forget about that.
That kid had a ton of ability. I was very
Yeah.
high on him. I thought he was underrated, and he was a high 4-star.
Yeah, he was. He had that one-handed catch to beat South Carolina.
Yeah. Are you talking about North or Riley?
Oh, Riley.
Both of them.
Sorry, Riley.
Both of them. I thought, well, maybe not Marquez North underrated. I thought they were both elite players.